There are a lot of challenges when we talk about selling 3D print. Which model you are going to sell, how you are going to sell it, and most importantly, what are my true costs and how much should I charge for a single print. On today's video, I'm going to show to you a very simple and yet very complete cost calculator for you to calculate your costs and know how to charge for your 3D prints. Check it out. Alright, so let's jump right in. Okay, this is the cost calculator that will be available here in the description of this video. There are a lot of small factors that you sum them up in order to get your total cost. And knowing your total cost is super important because you need to know how much you are spending to actually get that product made. However, the price of the product is a little bit less scientific, let's say, because you can kind of work it out the price a little bit. Maybe you can sell it a little bit better than for a higher price. Then you can add that to your margin. So the cost is always for us to know a little bit where we are stepping in, and then the price comes with other factors, and one of these factors is where do you sell, how do you sell, can you sell it for more expensive. Well, all of these things need to be taken into account when we are doing the price. All right, so the first thing that we need obviously is a model and a G-code so we can extract the data from, and I've created this whole spreadsheet based off of this model, which is the baby axolotl from STLFLIX, and I was able to put a bunch of baby axolotls. A lot of people talk about how much cheaper you can get a model when you put multiple on a single bed. So we are doing this technique right here, when I'm also using the filament optimization technique that I have in this video that you can click and check it out as well. All right, so we have here the baby axolotls. As you can see, I put a bunch of baby axolotls in here, 24 to be precise, and we are going to be using these numbers to calculate the cost. All right, so when we are here, I'm using the Bamboo Studio, and it counts for the total amount of filament right here, which is 198 grams, 0.11. All right, so I'm going to put the name of the STL right here. I'm also going to put, first of all, the first information is how long does it take for us to print it. All right, so the time here, it's 20 hours and 30 minutes. Let's do that. You guys, you can see here, it says 20.50. And the reason is because we need fractions of an hour. So I have 20 plus 30 divided by 60, so I can get the fraction of an hour. So I have 20.5 hours, right? And then the total weight, it's going to be 198 grams, 0.11. I also have my purge right here, which is 39.66, that I have summed the tower and the flush, and combined we have the purge. But the important information is the total weight. So in here, the total weight is actually everything combined. So all the models you've printed together with the tower, together with the flush. And this is the information we are going to be using. So 198.11. Don't make the mistake to use the model because this is not what we're looking for. And here, the purge, I've only put this information here out of curiosity. All right, now let's go to the material costs. We're going to be using PLA and the cost per kilogram of that PLA. I'm putting $17. If you can get a better price than that, all right, it's you. You can account obviously the cost of the kilogram plus the shipping, so you can get a total cost of filament. If you don't add the two, you might be doing a little bit of an underestimation of your costs. All right, and then the total cost is going to be $3.37 that we are actually using in filament. All right, because 198 grams, it's almost like 20% of the total, so it does make sense when we make the calculations here. Okay, the printer that I'm going to be using is the A1 combo, and the A1 combo has a power of 1300 watts. What we have realized testing it, and I'm going to do a video about it, is that it doesn't use all the 1300 watts at all times. It actually uses half of it. So the power usage that I have in here is the C12, which is the power times the number of hours that we're using divided by 2. Okay, so here is the total power usage, and then you have to put the cost per kilowatt hour of your place, the place that you live in. I'm guessing. I took an average. I went online, I researched, and I got 0.16 cents. It might be inaccurate, so put your cost per kilowatt hour. Okay, and then it's going to give your total electricity cost, which in this case was $2.13. This product is going to be sold with an accessory, right? This is a keychain. So I do need the keychain ring. So this is one of the accessories that I also need to take into account when I'm making the calculations of my price. The quantity is going to be 1 per model, and the unit price it's going to be 20 cents. Again, this is I'm just guessing. I haven't gone online, I haven't looked for the price of a keychain ring. I think it would be under that price, to be honest, but that's fine. Let's calculate using that. All right. And then we have the most feared, the one that a lot of people talk about, which is the fixed cost. If you're still working in your own home, in your own house, you do have your rent, you do have your mortgage, so you do have a cost of living. And then you need to understand how much of that cost of living your 3D printing business is going to pay for. It's going to be kind of like the rent that you have within your own space. All right, so let's say that you do have your total cost of living is going to be around, I don't know, $1,000 a month, and then you would say that 60% of all of that is going to be your 3D printing business. It's going to be that corner in your office. So I'm going to pay $60 in terms of fixed cost. When you change into a different place, when you do have your own office, you're going to update this fixed cost right here. If you already have yours, you can input your fixed cost of your office. And why is that? Because every single print that you make, it needs to help you pay for your costs, the cost of the place you are operating this business, right? Every single cell you make does need to contribute on your total costs. All right. So how many of those you can make a month, right? If it's 20 hours, I cannot say that I will make one per day, because that would be too much. I'm not going to work every single day. So I'm going to say that I can make, this is $1, I'm going to fix it later, but let's say that I can make 20 of those a month. All right, and then it needs to, if I'm going to make 20 of those a month and I only have one printer, I need to understand that that one printer needs to bring $3 to me every single print it makes. Okay, if I'm making 20 prints a month, if I'm making more than that, then it's going to be less than that. If I have more printers than that, then it's going to be less than that as well. If I have 5 printers, I can already multiply this number by 5, so I can put 100. And then the cost per print is going to be much less. All right, lifespan in terms of hours. So this is also something very important, because we need to set aside some money for amortization. At one point, sadly, your printer is going to stop working and you're going to invest on a new printer. So you also need to understand that every print you sell needs to help you purchase the next printer. So I did some research online. That was not an easy number to find, but I do have an article in here that it's tagged inside the spreadsheet. So once you open the spreadsheet, you can get in here. You can click and open yourself and read it. So how much does it last, one single printer? All right, and the number that I got was 12,000 hours. So it's a lot of hours operating, right? And the cost of an A1 combo would be roughly around $300. I need that every hour printed to pay me something in order for me to buy my next printer. In this case, we're talking about 51 cents that these axolotls needs to contribute for my next print. Okay, failure. Super important topic that a lot of people overlook. 3D printing is still not a super reliable way of manufacturing products. We do have failures. Sometimes a print gets loose, sometimes it clogs. We do have failures from time to time, and we need to take them very serious. We need to account them, right? So I'm going to say that my average failure rate is about 10%. You can make it less than that. You can reduce that. All right. What you're going to be doing is you're going to count the number of losses you had on every single month, and you are going to make that average so you can actually put a precise number in here. I like to put 10%. It might be better than that, it might be worse than that. This is why you need to account those. You need to actually make the calculation yourself and understand what is your failure rate, because it does compromise the cost of your prints, and you need to take a look at it. All right, so the total cost to manufacture all of these guys is going to be $9.81. And how is this calculation work? So we are summing up the material cost with the electricity cost with the accessories, and then in here you can add a bunch. We have a bunch of slots. If you have more accessories than the slots, perhaps you should reduce the size, the amount of accessories you're putting inside. All right, we have our fixed costs, so how much this print is contributing to pay our fixed costs. We have the amortization, because eventually we are going to be changing that printer, and we have obviously our failure rate, which is going to be applied only to filament costs and electricity costs and amortization, because the rest is items that we buy, so it makes no sense for us to account the failure rate on those as well. Okay, so it's $9.98. I'm going to suggest you a markup on pricing here, which I'm going to say is at least 3. You need to have at least 300% of that in terms in coming back in revenue, so you have a healthy business that you are able to sell not only to the final customer but also to resellers, and have kind of like 2 sources of revenue. All right, so the amount of units that we counted before, it's 24 units. So the unit cost, how much does it cost to print one single axolotl? Is actually 41 cents. I'm able to sell those at $3. That's awesome. Your markup on price is very good. It's almost 10. So you can actually make, this is why I said at the beginning that pricing is less scientific than cost, because pricing is how well of a seller you are, how well you can sell your own products. All right, so the consumer price, if I were to sell these, I could sell at $1.20, and I'd still be making 3 times that profit, which is really good. I'd probably try to sell higher than that. I wouldn't go straight to that. I'd probably try a markup on price on 5, but we are going to make those in a little bit. And then you can also sell to a reseller at 60 cents, and that guy can sell at the same 120 that you were selling. All right, and then the gross profit is going to be 82 cents on the final consumer and 20 cents on the reseller, which is interesting because the whole idea here is that you can sell at a much higher scale to a reseller, obviously, than you can to a final customer. So if you have within your area like 5 or 6 stores that are constantly buying from you, even if you have less margin on those sales than you would on the final consumer, it'd still be a good deal for you, because you can kind of arrange that revenue to come from different sources, and the more sources you have, it's kind of easier for you to navigate. If one of those sources kind of go bad, you're having difficulty sell to the final customer, you're not having fair, so you're not having the opportunity to sell to them, but you still have the resellers constantly buying from you and bringing in that revenue. Okay, so the liquid profit here is going to change according to the items that we have above, which is your tax rate, how much do you pay in tax, credit card fee, do you have credit card fee or not, and ads cost in case you're running ads online. Like let's say you are having a ROAS of 5, which means that 20% of your sale is actually a cost on advertise. So you would apply those in here and you would get to your final number. So in here you would have your liquid profit. So let's say you're paying 5%, your liquid profit is going to discount that. You also have your credit card fee, let's say it's 3%, and let's say you have that ROAS that I mentioned, so it's 20%. And then in here, the ROAS, the ads costs only apply to the final customer. So if you're running ads, you will see that your profit on the final consumer is not that further away from the profit that you would have with your reseller. And you can obviously increase the markup in here. You put like 5 times if you think so. I think that would be those would be doable at $2 or $2.50. And you would have a very good margin for the majority of those. And obviously you can keep changing those numbers, adapting to your reality, to the models that you were printing. The idea here was to bring a very complete spreadsheet with all of the things that you need to look for when you are selling your 3D printed products, so you don't have a sale that you think you are having a lot of profit, but in reality you're having a loss. And believe me, that happens quite a bit. Okay, so this is the spreadsheet. It's very complete. I hope you like it. If you have any feedbacks on it, leave in the comments below. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and also share this video with whoever you feel that also needs these tips. But most importantly, if you want to go deeper and you want to know more, we have a lot of very good courses related to 3D printing, 3D modeling, and entrepreneurship inside the STL Academy. So check in the description of the video. There will be a link where you can click and go further in the STL Academy. And also, don't forget to comment which type of content would you like us to explore and make a video about it. And also, let me know in the comments what type of video you would like me to share with you. Thanks, and I'll see you in the next time.